How's it going, Ray Nation? It's JT coming at you with another episode of the East Coast pregame show with my friend. We're back together again with NJ Ray Nation. How are you doing, NJ? I haven't talked to you since the Broncos game.
Yeah, it's been a while. Can't get the schedules together.
Yeah, 2-1 since we last talked. Obviously, the most recent loss against the Rams Thursday Night Football. How do you feel about that loss?
Another disappointing loss. Another game that we should not have lost. It's so repetitive. This whole season's been the same story. It seems like, or you either win or it's just something that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's been a game of one or two missed plays in a game, and we lose the game. The Cardinals game and we were talking about this a little bit before, but I was saying that we lost the Cardinals and the Rams game by basically a combination of like 4 yards. We needed like 3 yards to make it into field goal range for Daniel Carlson and like 1 yard to put the game on ice against the Rams, and we failed. And we would have been 7-8. No, sorry, 7-7. I can't do math. 7-6, looking much stronger going into this last 4 weeks. Obviously. We are still in the playoff hunt technically, but as it stands right now, we have like a 4% chance to make it. Winning out gives us a 50-50 shot. A lot needs to happen. The Patriots need to lose 2 of the next 4 games, including 1 to us. The Chargers must lose 2 of their final 4 games. Jets lose 2 of their final 4 games. Jaguars lose 1, and we must win out. So how are you feeling about those chances? Are you thinking that we make the playoffs, or are you just hoping we kind of lose and just keep our draft position?
Well, in terms of the draft stuff, I don't care about that at all. I would like to win out. In terms of making it into the playoffs, then I don't know, because other teams, if this team needs to win, this team needs to lose. It's out of the Raiders' hands at that point. But I hope we win out. I think it will make it more exciting. Obviously. And, last year we needed to win out the last 4 games of the season to make it into the playoffs. And we did do that. And, that was a lot of fun. And I think a lot of Raider fans enjoyed that. So ideally before the Rams game, right, with when we were going into the Broncos week, if we were to win those last couple games, it would have been 4, 5, 6, 7, the last 8 games of the season, which, on our 3-game win streak, it was looking like that could have been a possibility. Yep. That was a lot of fun. And at that point, like you said, we didn't need to worry about what the rest of the league's doing. It's just win those 8 games and then we'll be in the playoffs. But the Rams, losing to the Rams the way we did, but losing to the Rams kind of broke all that. So Now we're back at the point of, all right, if we win these next 4 games and this team loses, this team wins, now we're back doing that. So I don't like that stuff. I hope we win out just because, winning is a good thing. And then, the rest of the NFL, we see what happens. But I do think if we were to win the next 3 games, Patriots, Steelers, 49ers, and then if it came down to the Chiefs game on Sunday Night Football, regardless of what the rest of the league's doing, that would be fun, though. It would be fun. That would be, all the hype would grow. Even if we don't make it to the playoffs, the whole NFL will be watching our game because it would be a huge deal, and that would be fun. And it's in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, so that would definitely be an exciting time.
Yeah, and that like you said, very exciting. It's if all that happens and it comes down to Week 18, and we somehow beat the Patriots, somehow beat the Steelers on the East Coast in the cold on Christmas Eve, and we somehow beat the Niners at home, and then we don't have to move anywhere. We're back at home. We just have to play the Chiefs. Having 3 of our last 4 games at home is fantastic. Just in terms of our win percentage at home this season is pretty solid. But facing the Niners and the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row is extremely tough, especially considering how good the Niners are right now. They just won their division against the Seahawks last night. They've been pretty dominant the last 3 weeks. They've been dominant for a while now. Their defense looks really good. Their offense is really coming together. You have the Chiefs just looking, like the Chiefs. They're always good. You have the Steelers looking bad, but somehow winning games, and then you have the Patriots, like the same thing, bad, but somehow winning games. Facing a lot of good defenses the last 4 weeks. We have the Patriots defense is really good. The Steelers defense is really solid. The Niners defense is superb. And then the Chiefs defense, which is all right. But yeah, looking not too far ahead now, we're gonna talk about the Patriots game. How you feeling about this game? Because there's Mac Jones, who's not had a really good season. Ramondre Stevenson might be out, which I'm thinking he's leaning towards being out, and all that stuff. How you feeling about this game?
Well, first, I'm a storyline guy, so I love the Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick
Oh yeah,
matchup. I think that just makes it so exciting. And honestly, I think that makes it hypes up the team with that storyline by itself. I mean, Josh McDaniels is going to really want to win this game. This is a big like stepping stone in his career to play his previous head coach, and if he could get a win here, that would be big moving forward.
absolutely.
So that's exciting, and I think the players are going to play for that too. Not only obviously they have to win to make it to the playoffs, they want to do that, but when it comes down to these like little things like head coach versus previous head coach, like that kind of stuff, I think that resonates with the players a lot. I think when you look back at like big games like that, I think players really feel that, the fans really feel that. So that's exciting. I think on paper we should win this game. On paper, I think we should win this game a little like more than Vegas is giving us credit for, because we're slight underdogs. On paper, I think we should win, but honestly, maybe Vegas and everyone's looking at the way we've played, what's happened with the Rams and what's happened with these other games. I think we've been favored for the majority of the games this season. Actually, right?
For some freaking reason, I don't even know. It's
we're
really stupid that we've been favored, but yes, we've been favored.
Yeah, I wonder what that is. How many times we've been favored? Because it's definitely more than 500, more than
the first like 5 weeks, except for the Chiefs game. I think.
Yeah, it took a while for them to be like, all right, this team sucks.
Yeah, well, even then we were like still like at 2-7, we were still being favored against like the Colts, the Jaguars, the Saints, and even though we were a shit team, we were still being favored.
It had to be a majority.
Yeah.
But real quick, before we continue with the Patriots, one thing I really want to talk about with you is this team, this Raiders team, right? It's been getting a lot of crap talked about it, and for good reason. But when you break it down, in my opinion, I don't think that this is a bad team by any means. I think the core positions, we got the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, then we got our defensive ends, defense, cornerbacks are a little more struggling. But in terms of the core positions of the team, I think we're pretty good. Coaching, I think, is pretty good. I think the coaching has like shown that it can be good. I think that's like kind of an important thing the last couple of weeks. I've learned that this coaching scheme, the scheme, the play style, everything like that in terms of the coaching showed that it can be very good. These mistakes in each game that have costed us the game. For most of the games we've lost, I mean, most of the games are one-score games. It's a couple plays here and there, and we'd be in a really good position. So I don't think we have a bad team. I just think we've made a couple big mistakes in big scenarios, and they've costed us games, and that's why we're 5-8. But looking forward into next year, I think if we kind of keep a lot of what we have and then give the coaching more time and the players more time to, build chemistry, I think we could be a really good team. And I think we'll probably be what everybody thought we were supposed to be this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of alluded to it with talking about the Rams and the Cardinals being basically decided by less than 5 yards combined. But you're talking about 4 games that you lose by 13 plus points. Like you were ahead by 13 plus points heading into the fourth quarter, and you lose those games. Or at some point in the game, you're ahead by 13 plus points. The Jaguars game, the Cardinals game, the Chiefs game, and finally the Rams game, we're all up by 13 plus. If we hold on to those leads, we'd be 9-4. Well, like really good positioning into the playoffs. And this team's a whole different story. This is a team that has like a lot of grit, and we played really well against teams, even though they were close. We ended up able to close it out, but we didn't. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's coaching, execution. I don't know who is to blame. But going into next season, I definitely am excited because we have seen flashes of what this team can be. Especially that 3-game win streak against the Broncos, Seahawks, and Chargers. We saw what Devontae Adams, Derek Carr can do when they're really on. We saw what Josh Jacobs can do, go over for 300 total yards in a game, which is fucking bonkers. And just be able to somewhat dominate teams, especially the Chargers game. The both sides of the ball was pretty dominant outside of the first pick six by Carr, which was a really weird play. But we were able to dominate the Chargers. We played really well against the Seahawks, and then it just came crumbling down against the Rams. And I think, but still, we're in a good position. We have somewhere between 10 and 12 draft picks of this upcoming draft. We have a solid amount of cap space, especially if we restructure some contracts. We have 30 million right now, which is top 10 for next season, but we can restructure it to have over 90 million, which is a ton of cap room. Make moves in the offseason, get players, build up the defense, especially add more to the O-line, draft younger players, and we should be in a pretty good spot. I'm kind of excited too.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Like I think there's a lot to be excited about in this Raiders team, and it's been an unfortunate season with a couple big mistakes, and they've cost us games.
Yep.
But I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I think it's a mix of coaching, execution, players not having that chemistry at the level of you have when you're with each other for a couple years. I think all that will come, and it can come. But I think the Rams game is a good example of, it seems like we play to the other team a little bit, if you know what I'm saying, because we started the first drive. Yeah, we started the first drive perfectly.
Yep.
It seemed aggressive. Everything was going well, but then it just stopped. Right. And I don't know. And that's not a good thing. I think that's kind of something that needs to get fixed. And I think that starts at the coaching. I think that starts at the coaches level, whether it's changing the scheme or whatever it is. But that can't happen. But even the Rams, we were ahead at 16-3 with, in the fourth quarter. We should have put that game out. And I mean, I guess you can say that about so many games this year, and that's just the problem. And it's been really unfortunate as a Raiders fan to watch that. But I do think looking forward, there is a lot to like.
Yeah, especially with blown leads, it's definitely some sort of coaching thing of the ideology of having a lead.
Yeah.
I feel like we got way too conservative. I think we saw this with even the Gruden era. We get way too conservative when we have a lead. And there's a big reason why we lost in games, in all honesty. Even in the Gruden era, we would blow leads. We would allow the teams to come back, have it be way too close than it needs to be, or play down to the competition and lose to teams that we should have blown out or beat just in general. I don't know if this is a locker room thing of just the players not necessarily maybe playing as hard as they want to or need to be.
They lighten up.
They lighten up because they're okay, it's just the Rams. They're injured. They don't have really a QB that we know about. Baker Mayfield was added, sure, but we don't know if he's playing. And then Aaron Donald's out. Cooper Kupp is on IR. They don't really have anyone. And then we're this should be an easy win. And then you start looking ahead. Start looking at the Patriots because you're if we win this game, we should be winning this game. But think about the Patriots because then we have to control our destiny and we have to win out, and then you blow it, and then you lose games that you should be winning. It's just it's a very strange phenomenon that we've had the last few years.
Because you see other teams and they don't do that, like the Bills and Green Bay when Green Bay was really good. It's constant pedal to the metal, and we just do not do that at all by any means.
Yeah, and we don't have enough talent on either side of the ball. Obviously, we have Devontae Adams, Mac Crosby, Josh Jacobs, even Derek Carr as the talent, but we don't have enough depth to the talent to allow it to get have it be bail out that idea. We needed 1 yard, we couldn't get it.
Yeah.
We don't have enough the top end, high end talent to bail us out. Because a lot of teams have that, the Steelers, they just have their best players just make random ass plays and win games. Make a Fitzpatrick close the game against the Falcons with a pick. TJ Watt, when he's healthy, is just wins games. Just decides to win a game.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that where we don't have, even if it's a failure on all sides of the ball and it's way too close and we should be losing this game, we just don't have those random big plays that put games away consistently enough. We obviously have had a few Josh Jacobs a game-winning touchdown, but doesn't. I mean,
when's the last time the Raiders have won by 20?
Actually, that's a Fantastic question. I think that's one of the big criticisms of car era football is like how many times have we actually blown out an opponent?
Yeah. I mean, you could look at the Texans and be like 38-20 is like a good, showing in terms of like
Yeah,
blowing out. But even that, like they're teams that go like 30, 40 points and then keep the other team at like single digits or at least, in the teens. Like Chiefs is
yeah.
a good example. They're constantly blowing teams out. Like I don't understand why we can't play.
A lot of it comes down to one of the biggest issues is red zone touchdown percentage.
Yeah, and that's where we're,
We
completely
score
lacking,
field
right?
goal. We score over the last few years. We scored way more field goals than we should.
Yeah.
Again, the Reds, we had like one of the highest scoring like offenses like per drive because we'd always score field goals. We'd make a lot of trips to the red zone, but we'd score field goals and not touchdowns, and that's why we lost a lot of games. That's
Yeah.
why we lost this game. We had
Yeah,
an
well,
interception in the red zone.
that's what I was going to say. I think this last game just shows that there's more to it because the first drive played perfectly. If we tried to replicate that same drive in every time we got the ball, we would have been up 30 something points.
And that's why I knew we were going to lose. At halftime, I was like, it's only 13-3. Are you fucking serious right now? We should be up like 20 plus points right now.
Yeah,
how
we were very dominant.
How
on
the
both sides of
defense,
the ball.
how the defense, you cannot waste a good defensive performance like that from a bottom tier defense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, looking towards the Patriots, their defense, they allow only 18 points a game. They score 21, and then looking at our team, we score 23 points a game or almost 24 points a game, and we allow 24 points a game. We have way better rushing. We have 128 yards a game versus their 104. Way better passing, 245 to their 232. We allow way more yards. We allow almost 40. We allow 44 more yards than them. We only allow 110 yards a game. They allow 111. So it's actually a pretty solid rush defense. And pass yards allowed, they allow 223, which is a really solid pass defense. So based on all that, based on how they've won games, based on just looking at their games the past, their 7 wins or 6 losses, they're a good team. They're a solid team.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a solid team, but I just think in terms of the matchup, we should definitely beat this team. And there's not too much more to say about it. Like we just should win. But we've said that about many games this year. But for Mac Jones, I thought Mac Jones last year, I thought he was a really good quarterback. I thought he was going to be really good, most of his career, but he definitely seems like he's struggling this year. Yeah. And I definitely was probably wrong last year then. But
it also doesn't help they lost Josh McDaniels and added Matt Patricia as his play.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's a good point. Because obviously that is affecting him, and that just goes into this storyline again. Josh McDaniels is on the other side of the field. Does that get in Mac Jones's head? I would think maybe a little bit. But they're a run heavy team this year more so too, right? Whether that's because Mac Jones isn't feeling as good throwing or Matt Patricia's coming in and wanting to run more. They do have good running backs. But in terms of I guess with that, right? In terms of run heavy team more so than passing, how do you feel about that matchup with the Raiders defense? Because I know you're a big defense guy with
I think we match up pretty well against their rushing because they only get 104 yards a game, and we only allow 110, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually we only allow 4.2 yards a carry, which is tied for 6th lowest average in the league, which is pretty damn good. So with that in mind, I think we match up pretty well defensively, especially if we can get Andrew Billings back, but I don't know if he's going to end up playing. Who knows? But getting some of our, the defensive tackles, Max Crosby is, of course, one of the best run stuffing defensive ends in the league, if not the best. I think we match up pretty well with that, especially if Ramondre Stevenson is out because he has not been a non-participant for 2 out of the 3, days that we were practice days. So he's most likely, in my opinion, going to be out for the game. And Damian Harris is also hurt, but they ended up the game against who'd they face on Monday night? Arizona. Their running backs, their backup running backs played pretty decently towards the end. So it's about containing the rush and being able to tackle in the secondary, because they do a lot of bubble screens, they do a lot of short passes, they don't do really anything deep. So it's really about tackling, and Nate Hobbs is one of the best tackling corners in the league. Deron Harmon's a solid tackler. We have solid tackling overall. So we match up well defensively, but my worry is they match up really well defensively against us, probably even better, because they only allow 223 yards passing a game, which is fucking crazy, and 111 rushing yards, which is fucking crazy. And with Josh Jacobs hurt and Derek Carr looking rough against the Rams, who aren't a great team. Honestly, he looked bad, and I don't know how people are arguing that he didn't have a bad game, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do offensively. That's my issue.
Yeah, well, is Josh Jacobs out? Is he deemed out?
No, he's limited participant, but he has
The pinky, right?
I think he hurt his pinky or hand, and then he has a quad injury too.
He's always banged up, but he's such a tough kid. He always seems to be a go. But I mean, that's right. Towards the end of the last game, he definitely looked more banged up than average, I guess. But with Mac Jones, 7 touchdowns to his 8 interceptions, do you like the chances of us getting some picks off him? Do you think I don't know this question. I don't know if they've, alternated quarterbacks during games this year. I don't know if you know that, but would the chance of seeing Zappy play, is that likely too?
If Mac Jones really just starts shitting the bed, we might see Bailey Zappi, especially if we're blowing them out, which we're not going to blow them out. But I don't think we see Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi only played, I think 2 games, something like that. And he looks solid, but I don't think we're going to see him play because they're still committed to Mac Jones and seeing what he's got for the season.
I know in the beginning of the season, they were more so kind of still wondering if they were going to because it's shown right here, Zappy's played 4 games. And I remember there was a time where they were kind of alternating. So I don't know if they figured that out and they're just sticking with Mac Jones. But I mean, 7 to 8 interceptions, 7 touchdowns to 8 interceptions is awful.
I honestly don't know if we'll get a pick because for some reason our defense is always allergic to picks, especially free picks. Doesn't matter who it is. We have free picks and we always somehow something goes wrong and we drop the pick, or it doesn't, there's a penalty on defense, or like last game with Deron Harmon's should have been a game-sealing pick, but it's possible, especially with how well our pass rush has been playing, to get after Mac Jones. Especially Crosby and Chandler have been really well. The defensive tackles have finally stepped up. Bilal Nichols has 1.5 sacks. Even though Tillery had that really boneheaded mistake, he's been playing really well besides that. He's been the difference maker for our defensive line, in my opinion. And if we can get Billings back, and even Matthew Butler, who's a rookie, has 0.5 sack. Neil Farrell has been playing solid. I think if we can get the pass rush going and staying going throughout the whole game, I think we will do fine defensively. Again, I'm worried about our offense more than anything, which is weird to say because we have a top offense, like towards the top, like a mid to top 10 offense, but we have a mid to bottom 10 defense, and I'm more worried about the offense just because the Patriots defense is just that good.
Yeah. Well,
Belichick also knows McDaniels really well. As much as McDaniels knows Belichick, Belichick knows McDaniels maybe even better because he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive coaches of all time.
Yeah, that's true. So then you worry about our offense, I'll worry about our defense, and then hopefully both will play well and we won't have to worry.
One can really hope.
Because I mean, I feel like it's been kind of the same story just going into every game. I can see us playing a really good game and then getting up 1-2 scores in the game, but and then we'll blow it in the last game.
Oh my God. So many blown games.
I mean, you can't the Rams game, I forget the other game, I felt really good at halftime. I think it
Arizona.
was No. Well,
it wasn't Arizona?
There've been no, of course there've been a lot, but I'm saying like even after I think it was the Jaguars. Let's see.
We're up 20 to 20.
Yeah. Yeah,
We scored 0 in the second half.
Yep. The Jaguars game and the Rams game were two where I felt really good at halftime. And my point is, no matter what happens on Sunday, you can't feel good until it literally hits 0-0 at the end of the fourth quarter.
Or if it's like the Texans and first Broncos game where, it's the fucking Texans and Broncos. Like, we're not that bad where we can't beat them. So at least, I felt comfortable about those wins, but everything else has been painful. Or just, I don't think we win. And this is another game where I don't think we win. So
there's zero confidence.
What is your prediction? Like, score prediction, how do you think it's going to play out, etc. before we head out?
So obviously I always gotta, I'm always predicting a win. If we do win, look, the Jets have a great defense, but the Patriots, for the most of that game, they held them to 3-3, right? But
Yeah.
like I said, the Jets, I think, have a way better complete defense than we do. But if we can get to the quarterback, like you said, our pressure's been looking good. Patrick Graham seems to be like finding his place a little more. If we could get the pressure, slow them down, if they run heavy, I think, and we can like monitor the running, I don't think they score that much. So, with that said, maybe like 2 scores, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, or like, a touchdown and 2 field goals, something around there. So I would say probably like 14. And then, hopefully we get, I would say at least 2 touchdowns and some field goals. So 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, 20. So maybe 20-10 would be my, I guess, official score.
So far, when we're talking about, like, I always, when I look at the points per game, it's always worked out for some reason that I predict kind of the score based on how much they allow, how much we allow, etc., etc. So I'm gonna say, because they only allow 18 points a game, I say, and we scored fucking 16 against the Rams. I don't know. My God. I'm going to say we lose. We're losing. I'm saying that right now. 17-10. We lose 17-10.
17-10.
How it's going to play out? Solid opening drive. Like, we're like, holy shit, McDaniels is a fucking genius.
So repeat of the Rams.
Redo of the Rams, basically. And then just score a field goal for the rest of the game because their defense is so good. Carr, because we got jinxed by that random reporter, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he
wasn't
said
Hondo Carpenter.
It wasn't Hondo. He might have said the same thing, but it was some random guy said Derek Carr has not lost a football this season. Yeah, he's going to lose 2 this game. He's going to have a pick, and then they're going to lose. It's going to be like a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and it's going to be a 17-10 loss because our offense can't do anything for some reason, and our defense our defense gives up 1 touchdown, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, the defense sucks because they gave up 17."
I cannot see the offense not scoring more than 1 touchdown like they did versus the Rams. I think we at least score 2 touchdowns at least, and we have to. There's no way we repeat.
If we score more than 2 touchdowns, we absolutely win the game. If we score 2 touchdowns, we absolutely win the game. But I don't think we score 2 touchdowns. Actually, no, I don't even want to say we absolutely win. We have a way better chance of winning if we score.
I was gonna say what.
Because I don't want people coming back and be like, "Oh yeah, you said we definitely win," and we end up losing 17-14 instead of 15-10.
No, I think this is a bounce back game. It has to be. Or if we lose this game, in my opinion, it shows that there's more going. Like, remember a couple weeks ago before our win streak, we were talking about how the locker room, there's like stuff going on. They're not too happy, whatever. The 3 win streak, it wasn't like crazy great games, right? Like every game, win or lose, has been close this entire year, except for the Texans game. So I think when talking about if the Raiders are really good and just barely losing close games on stupid circumstances, or really bad and barely winning a couple games, like, I think it could go either way. But if we lose this game, I think I'm going right back to a couple weeks ago where me and, I was talking to you and saying, something's going on in the locker room. It's not great. Carr was crying. Remember all that crap?
Oh my God,
Three
yeah.
3 wins later, everyone's like, all right.
Well, he didn't
The
cry
Raiders
after
are
the
back.
Rams game, so how are we supposed to win now?
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, so there's also another thing. I posted this whole playoff thing. How when Max Crosby DM me, he's like, "Don't lose belief."
Oh, wait. Did you probably touched on that in another video. Can you 10, 20 seconds explain that? You just DM'd me that?
Yeah, so I posted one of those things, the playoff picture things of like how we can win out. And I said I don't see this happening. And then he randomly DM'd me. I did not send it to him. I did not say anything to him. He said, "Don't lose belief." And I was like,
that's pretty
I
cool.
was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to lose belief. But here's the reason why I'm so down on us right now in the show. Because every time I predict them to win, except for the Broncos game and the Texans game, which are fucking guaranteed wins because they're dog shit teams, they've lost. Every time I've said they're gonna win, they've lost, except for the Broncos and Texans. Just 3 out of the fucking 14 games we played. So that's not a good record of predictions.
But
I'm gonna predict
every time you said
I'm predicting we lose so that we win. I predicted us to lose to the Seattle Seahawks. We won. Predicted us to lose to the Chargers. We won. I predicted again. I'm not counting the Denver Broncos because we own the Broncos and they suck. I predicted we won against the Colts. We lost. We won against the Jaguars. We lost. Predicted against the Cardinals. We lost. Titans, Saints. Predicted against the Chargers the first time. Predicted against all these teams the first. And I was like, we're the only team that actually beat us when I said we would lose. Is the Chiefs, because that's the Chiefs. So maybe to help us and be the anti-jinx, I'm gonna say we lose this game because we suck, and that way they can prove me the fuck wrong. I don't want to be proven right. I want to be proven right, not wrong. So,
all right.
I'm sorry. I want to be proven wrong, not right.
Well, I've said we were gonna win every single game this year, so. There's nothing.
Hey, you're
going
5-8. So
yeah.
So I guess that is that. But I'll be the anti because every time we disagree on us winning, we've won. So I'd rather be wrong. Give me the wrong, so I'm right.
All right, you're taking it for the team.
Taking one for the team, exactly. But yeah. Don't lose belief, Raider Nation, except I can because I don't want to jinx us. I officially say that we lose. NJ Raider Nation says we win. So we'll see who's right on Sunday. Not Sunday football anymore, so it's a 4:05 game for us, so a 1:05 game for you guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out NJ Raider Nation's Twitter and YouTube channel at NJ Raider Nation 0 for Twitter and just NJ Raider Nation for YouTube. Like and subscribe there. Follow him on Twitter. He makes good content. Post good tweets, all that stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe here as well. Don't forget to comment, leave us your predictions, all that stuff. I want to see what you guys want to say. And any last words, NJ Raider Nation?
Win out.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby, and win out and get to the playoffs.
True that. All right. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys had a great day, and peace out, Raider Nation.